Deputy Commissioner Graham Ashton joins us. Deputy Commissioner, good morning to you.
Good morning, Ross.
So you've got information, presumably from phone taps, that if you passed it on to the chief steward in Victoria, it would result in him banning jockeys and banning owners. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's a regular source of frustration, yes. I know with the Racing Integrity Commissioner, we meet regularly about this. We often find information that comes over, most often phone taps, but often through other ways as well, that concern us about the racing industry, and we sit there across the table from Sal Perner, and we say, look, we know things, but we can't tell you. And
well, why can't you tell?
Well,
what stops you?
Legislation stops us. We've got, particularly with telephone intercepts, we've got legislation that restricts heavily because it's an extreme type of investigative power. There are significant restrictions, and rightly so, about what we can do with that information.
In other words, if you tap a phone in order to get information about crime A and you discover crime B, you can't use it.
That's it, yeah.
Is that federal government legislation?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Right, well, hang on. I thought that the bloke who stood up at that press conference about 3 months ago with a very, very serious look on his face was a member of the federal about corruption in sport, was a federal government minister.
Yeah, well, we would like it changed, that's for sure.
Hang on, but hang on. You want it changed, and the bloke who stood up there, two people who stood up there with a serious face about this is the blackest day in Australian sport, they represent the federal government, which won't give you the law change you're asking for.
Yeah, we certainly need it, that's for sure. And certainly in this case, we haven't heard in relation to any changes that are being foreshadowed.
Well, does that make you think that despite the serious look on their faces 3 months ago, they're not all that serious about it?
Well, it's hard to know. I know the Australian Crime Commission report certainly painted that picture, and we certainly need these powers to help us to get the job done.
And so you should. Hey, listen, you don't have to name names, and obviously you won't. What sort of info is it?
Oh, look, it's info that regularly comes in. You'll have.
Give us an example.
Well, we're investigating at the moment race fixing in relation to the racing industry. That's well known in relation to the Nikolic case. And as part of those investigations, you come across trainers that are clearly doing the wrong thing, and
such
also,
as
jockeys.
Trainers doing what sort of wrong thing?
Well, I can't go into the detail. This is where the legislation does us in.
But is what they're doing a crime?
Yes.
So you know from your phone taps that certain people are committing crimes, but you can't do anything about it?
Yeah, look, we're investigating a lot of that, and hopefully that'll lead to charges. But there's issues other than crimes that the sporting codes need to know, because they're protecting the integrity of sport. So you don't have to be a convicted criminal or be committing a crime to be a threat to the integrity of the game.
Of course. I assume that what you've got from these tapes that you're not allowed to use is you've got evidence of crimes and evidence of breaches of the rules of racing.
Yeah, that's it. Which
you can't use.
That's right.
Righto. Have you actually formally asked for a change in the law?
Certainly, we've asked the Commonwealth through the state government whether we can have these changes, and we've certainly at officer level been talking about it, but we haven't heard. We've been following the Senate hearings that have been going on in the Commonwealth at the moment in relation to these sorts of powers, but we don't see any progress at the moment.
Assertion in Keith Moore's article this morning: organised crime's grip on world sport is so strong that it is inevitable that Australian matches in various sporting codes will be fixed. True or false?
Yeah, it's true, because when you look at how big a crime that is becoming internationally, it's one of the fastest growing crimes in the world.
Which sport would you be betting on being the first to be so affected? I can think of the one that would be red-hot favourite.
Well, when we've talked about here in Victoria, we think that those sports that are being bet on in Asia are the ones that have got to worry us the most.
They've got a smaller number of players involved, and one particular player in that particular code has a great influence on the result.
Yeah, that's right.
Soccer.
Oh, I thought you knew about cricket.
Well, I find this absolutely incredible. Can you explain one other thing, Deputy Commissioner? The article also says Australians are now betting about $7 billion a year offshore. Really?
There's some big numbers in terms of the money.
What am I betting on if I bet offshore?
Well, you're betting on tennis, cricket, soccer.
With overseas bookmakers?
Yep.
Deputy Commissioner, what an extraordinary yarn. We thank you for your time.
No, it's a pleasure.
Graham Ashton, Victoria Police Deputy Commissioner, who can't get the federal government to agree to a change in the law which would assist him in eradicating corruption in sport when the federal government wants to be seen as the leader in the campaign against corruption in sport.